Requiring KPI value approval is an optional feature that can be set within Spider Impact. It allows KPI owners to have better control over value updates that other people are responsible for entering. For KPI value approval to be enforced, an option must be enabled. To show where that's located, I'll select Administration in the bottom left. Then select Application Administration. Under General Settings, there's an option named Require Owner Approval for KPI Value Updates, which must be set to Yes. The next requirement is an owner must be defined for this setting to have any meaning. I'll select Scorecards, expand Examples, and KPI Value Approval, and select KPI 1, and then I'll select Edit. Notice at the bottom that no owner has been defined. However, if I select KPI 2 and KPI 3, D has been assigned as the owner. I'll now select Done. I'll start by showing how the process works from the updater perspective. I'll select KPI 1, select Update KPI Values, and enter a value of 15. I'll select Save, and notice how the value is immediately presented on screen since no owner has been defined. However, if I select KPI 2, Update KPI Values, enter 15, click Save, notice how the value isn't immediately displayed on screen because approval is required. I'll select KPI 3, Update KPI Values, enter a 0, and click Save. If I select Update KPI Values for either KPI 2 or KPI 3, note that the pending value is visible. However, there's an important note that states some KPI values have not yet been approved. These values will only show on update forms until they are approved. I'll select Cancel. The KPI updates will trigger an email to D alerting her that she has updates pending approval. She could then log in or click the View in Spider Impact link from the email to either approve or reject the KPIs. To show this in action, I'll select my other browser where I've already logged in as D to see how this looks from her perspective. I'll first notice the alert stating there are KPI value updates pending approval. D could click on the alert or click Approve KPIs. She would then be presented with an interface that shows the new value along with the old value. If it was null, no value will be shown. It also shows the person who made the updates, in this case Frank. At the far left, if I hover over the hierarchy icon, I can see the KPI's ancestors, which helps differentiate between KPIs that may be named the same within an organization. In the top right, if I have many KPIs to approve, I can select the filter icon. I can then filter by organization or calendar. Below that, if I hover over the eye icon for KPI 2, I can see additional details. Most notably, D can see the KPI's red flag and goal values, and can quickly surmise that with a goal of 10, an entry of 15 was a realistic change by Frank. To approve all entries at once, D could select the check at the top to approve all new values. If she were to click it again, it would undo that. She can do the same thing with rejections by clicking the X to reject all new values, and then click again to undo it. She can also approve or reject values one at a time. For KPI 2, she might select Approve New Values, and notice how that row gets highlighted in blue with the green check. For KPI 3, she might select Reject New Values because she sees an invalid entry of 0, and notice how that gets a red X. Her last step would be to select Save in the bottom right. These selections will then trigger an email to the updater, Frank, alerting that his value updates were reviewed. Frank could then log in or click the View in Spider Impact link from the email to review what D did. To show this in action, I'll select my other browser, where I'm already logged in as Frank, and then click Home. There's a new alert listing all the rejected KPIs at the top, and approved at the bottom, and I'll select more to see the full alert there. In reviewing this closely, I see that D accurately rejected the entry of 0 for KPI 3. That value should have been 10. I'll click KPI 3, which takes me to Update KPIs. I'll enter a value of 10 and click Update KPIs. This will now trigger another email to D for her to once again reject or approve the entry. I'll click KPI 2 to review this process a bit further. I see the approved value of 15 in the speedometer, which looks good. If I click the History button in the top right, note how the KPI update is tied to the updater Frank, not the approver D. I'll select Close. I'll now select KPI 3. Since the 0 value was rejected by D, the speedometer is blank. If I click the History icon, there are no update actions. It will remain that way until D approves the update. I'll select Close. Another point to note is that if multiple owners are assigned and one of the owners makes a KPI update, one of the other owners must approve it. To illustrate that, I'll select KPI 4, select Edit, and I'll see that Frank and D are both owners. I'll select Done. I'll enter a value change of 15 and click Save. And notice how the entry is pending even though one of the owners made the update. The other owner D would now have to go in and review the entry. However, if the same owner is set as the updater and there are no other owners, no approval is required. To illustrate that, I'll select Edit and I'm going to remove D. I'll select Save and Done. I'll enter a value change, make it 20, click Save, and notice how the entry is immediate. One last item is that Spider Impact can allow power users to log in as other users. If a person with that permission updates a KPI and then logs in as the KPI owner, they can reject their own updates, but Spider Impact does not allow them to approve it.